2 weeks ago, I got involved in a matter concerning a gender identity motion and a motion to ban pride flags from Alabama public schools. It happened 2 weeks ago. I've got a really great update to everyone who participated in the social media post on X, as well as some of the publicity in 1819 News and on the Jeff Poor Show. I want to say thank you and get into something that has been called by one member of the Alabama State House as the most conservative single day that he has ever been participated in the Alabama State House. So let me give you a rundown here really quickly. First of all, I was just kind of going through my feed on X and noticed an article about Mack Butler's bill that had been working its way through committees and had been slated to hit the floor in the Florida State House. So I saw that come through as an 1819 news article, 1819 tweet, or X post. And so I just dropped down in the comments and celebrated Mack and celebrated the Alabama State House for picking that up. Kind of moved on. Hadn't been paying attention to that really. And then the next day I saw another 1819 news article saying that it appeared that this particular bill, though had been headed for the House floor, was no longer there. So, I just started digging around trying to find out what was happening, contacted a few reps, reached out to a few people, and just to try and get an understanding of what was going on. One thing led to another. I ended up getting in touch with a lot of really great people that are working in the Alabama State House as well as the Alabama State Senate. And so if that's all that had come out of that, it was a joyful time for me and good getting to know and meet some new people. But that conversation began to kind of circle on out. I was trying to get a better understanding of the process, what has to happen for this bill, for this legislation to hit the floor. And so I began to contact a lot of people. On Sunday night, let's see, let me think of this. I think it was a week ago Sunday, I shared out an X post calling on Alabama, the Alabama State House, to send this motion to the floor. That led to some really great conversations. I had reached out to a number of people, including Speaker Ledbetter, just a lot of folks. Majority Leader Scott Stadthagen, a friend of mine, Shane Stringer, Mack Butler. I mean, it's a long list of people that I reached out to. And Speaker Ledbetter and I got in touch with each other that Sunday night. And it went on over into Monday. I was actually out of town. We were playing phone tag a little bit and just had this really, really great conversation. And so in the course of that conversation, Speaker Ledbetter was sharing with me that he was going to be platforming or scheduling that legislation for Thursday early in the day. And so all of that stuff just began to click down through, began getting more contacts. I wasn't able to get back out and give a really great recap of what's happened. One, because it hadn't gotten to the floor, but on Thursday it did. This is the day, that Thursday was the day that this piece of legislation was overwhelmingly passed by the Alabama State House. Now, I want to give you just a little quick rundown. This comes from the Alabama GOP legislative recap, week 9. Listen to these pieces of legislation that were passed, and you'll see why this particular representative that was talking to me, sharing that this was the most conservative day that he had ever participated in the Alabama State House. Listen to what was passed. 1, the Laken-Riley Act. This was written by Representative Ernie Yarbrough. The drag show ban in schools and libraries. Hey, that's a good one. I mean, we really don't need grown men dressed up, culturally appropriating womanhood, and engaging with our kids in school. That's bizarre that we have to write something like that. We used to call this grooming, and now we call it drag queen story hour. Anyway, that legislation, written by Majority Leader Scott Stadthagen, was put on the floor on Thursday. It was also passed. Representative Mark Gidley wrote legislation on the 10 Commandments being displayed in school. That was also passed. This is here's the next one. Representative Mack Butler This is the legislative piece that we got involved in. I'm telling you, people shared it. Eric Metaxas shared it. We had the executive director of the Freedom Center at Liberty University shared it. I mean, numerous House representatives shared it. Incredible positive feedback. Went on Jeff Poor's show. We talked. A lot of people just clicking on down. Seth Gruber, CEO of the White Rose Resistance, a very prominent pro-life organization, shared it. I'm telling you, I can't remember everyone, but there is like almost 24 very prominent folks that shared this as far as like in leading pro-life, pro-family organizations were sharing it. But Mack Butler, his legislation, which provided a ban on instruction on gender identity, which, by the way, let me tell you this: the majority of families from all races and political postures do not want their children being indoctrinated by schools in this gender ideology. Also, it's not just a matter of popular opinion. For this certainly is not scientific. It's an anti-science thing. You are not born in the wrong body. Up until just a few years ago, even the APA listed gender dysphoria as a mental and emotional disorder. Yet this ideology and people pushing this ideology have been loosed on our children, and as taxpayers, we are funding the indoctrination of our children. Thank you, Mack Butler. Your legislation has passed, and this is not going to be allowed in Alabama public schools anymore. Also, the pride flag, it's like a LGBTQ battle flag. It's an indoctrination flag celebrating transgenderism, celebrating really a mental disorder and this indoctrination agenda on our kids out of the schools. So thank you very much, Representative Mack Butler. You're a friend of the nuclear family. You are a friend of common sense. You're a friend of science. And you are a friend of Alabama. This is an agenda that has been pushed down from executive orders from President Trump. The federal government has cut it out, has stopped this nonsense. And now Alabama has done the same thing. Of course, this issue, this piece of legislation now has to go to the Alabama Senate. But let's get that done. I think we're going to get that done. Certainly, if the Senate clochures, like the Alabama State House did, it'll be no problem. In both houses, there's a super majority of Republicans, and this is what we have voted for. And so there's no reason for us not to get that done. Here's another couple: the Gulf of America Act, written by Representative David Standridge, and then LuLu's Law, written by David Faulkner, named in honor of the Mountain Brook teen injured in a recent shark attack. Those were all of those were passed in the State House. I'll be going over to the Senate. I just wanted to give an update, say thank you. And I think it also is important to note that the people of Alabama need to be involved and to know what's going on. And then when people like Representative Mack Butler step up, when people like Representative Ernie Yarbrough step up, Representative Mark Gidley step up, we need to step up with them. And then, hey, credit and honor where honor is due. Thank you so much, Speaker Ledbetter, for platforming and scheduling, calendaring these overwhelmingly popular motions and putting them on the floor so that these can be voted on. My hat is off to you. I salute you. Thank you for your great work and for a new and budding friendship. I pray that God continues to bless the State House, the Speaker, Majority Leader Scott Stadthagen, and all of the good leaders that are working on behalf of the people. And I'm so thankful for Alabama. I tell people all the time, look, I'm a pastor. I want people to get to heaven. But if you can't get to heaven, at least get to Mobile, Alabama. It's heaven. We are so blessed, and I hope that we continue moving forward on this track, executing on the will of the people. Let's get some great things done, and let's see God do a great work in our families, our communities, and his grace on our great state of Alabama.